Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Julia. Today we're going to be doing school board commentary for the August 19th board meeting. So this board meeting was very light, not a lot went on. Clearly they don't want to get into deep discussion on things before we get our two new people inducted in November. There's a little bit to talk about. There were two examples of school choice offerings from the district that we're going to talk about that we learned about during the meeting. But before I jump into that, I want to highlight this comment from Virginia Savieto.
One thing from yesterday that was very disappointing was voter participation. Less than 25% of Palm Beach County voters turned out. Our democracy works best when people participate. So I truly hope we see many more people make their voices heard in November general election.
Yes. So if you weren't paying attention, we just had these primaries and we had the first round of school board elections. District 6 and District 4 were up for election. John McGovern will be inducted in November and he will replace Marcia Andrews. And District 4, we had two candidates make it to the runoff election, which will happen in November, and that's Christina Romulus and Daniel Zapata. Also, Erica Whitfield, who is currently District 4's school board representative, she was running to be county commissioner for District 2, and no one was running on the Republican ticket, and she won, so she will become our county commissioner for District 2. So congratulations to her. But yes, Savieto points out that these primary elections, we had 25% turnout. 1 in 4 people showed up and voted for these things, which is abysmal and super depressing. I consider going out and voting and researching your ballot to be basically the bare minimum of civic engagement. And it continues to be really frustrating that people don't take this seriously. And I just wanted to highlight this article for you, for when people say, maybe you think this, maybe you think, oh, well, local elections don't really matter. It doesn't really matter, Julia. I'm going to show you this article from Florida Politics. Equality Florida, SPLC, targets Moms for Liberty candidates and historic mailer push. At the last minute before Tuesday's election, they put $250,000, $250,000 into mailers targeting what this article calls Moms for Liberty candidates. And they have a list of the candidates here that they put out mailers in support of, and one of them is Christina Romulus from our county. I will just say that our county chapter did not endorse anyone in these school board races. Clearly, they just looked at Christina Romulus's platform and thought that it was aligned with what Equality Florida and Southern Poverty Law Center wanted. $250,000 is a lot of money, and this article talks about how this is historic. The largest school board mail program in the group's histories. These local elections matter. People don't dump that kind of money into elections that don't matter. And the Southern Poverty Law Center, we've talked about them on this YouTube channel before. In March, we read a book that Tyler O'Neill wrote talking about the horrible character of this organization. They're currently under federal investigation for fraud, for pumping money into the very groups that they put on the hate map so that they can claim that hate is on the rise and solicit money out of people. These people who run these organizations think that they can do whatever they want. They can act in all sorts of horrible and debauched ways, and they can still have a voice in our communities because they have enough coin to pump out colorful pieces of trash to dump into people's mailboxes. Just wildly depressing. Been stewing about it all weekend. But if you look in the description of this video, I've curated a list of civic engagement resources for kids. I think the best way that you can promote civic engagement to your family and to your friends, to people that you're surrounded with, is just to model by example. Voting, of course, but also going to meetings and speaking and talking to people, and not just saying, are you going to vote in the upcoming election? Be like, what do you think about Amendment 3? Do you have opinions? I'd love to talk about it with you. So yes, I have a list of resources that I scour the internet to find. Also, you might have seen online that we are doing a story time event in August, in a week here, really. Saturday, August 29th, we're doing a story time event. We're doing Meg Weinberger's book about quackers, but we're also doing Libby Justice. Libby Justice is a picture book that Moms for Liberty put out, and it is directly about civic engagement. Libby Justice is a child, and there's a dilapidated playground in her community that's in disrepair, and she goes home one evening and is complaining about this at the family dinner table, and she says, why hasn't anyone done anything about this? And her father looks at her and says, the better question is, why haven't you done anything about this? So it's a lovely book promoting civic engagement, and we'd love to see you there if you want to come out for that. Now we're going to get into the school choice stuff that they talked about during this meeting. Mike Burke, during his comments, announced this exciting new program that I'll let him talk about here.
And then we've got something kind of new and exciting to offer our community this school year. We recognize that we are an extremely competitive environment with the Family Empowerment Scholarships or vouchers. We're competing against charter schools, private schools, home education, you name it. And so what we've created is this new program called Palm Beach County Flex Academy, or PBC Flex Academy. And this allows students that are maybe homeschooled or in private school, if they wish to take a course with us, for example, if they want to take a music class or art class or advanced coursework in our middle or high schools, they can join us on a part-time basis and use a portion of their Family Empowerment Scholarship to pay for it. So this is kind of an a la carte service with a menu of options, and we're just getting this started, and we expect to see it grow. But anyone interested in that can go to our website, pbcflexacademy.org, to learn more about it.
I've linked in the description the website for PBC Flex Academy. I think this sounds like a great idea. A common criticism of homeschooling that people make is that homeschooled students are not socialized enough, are not interacting enough with public school kids, and that's a negative thing. And they often frame this like, well, this is why we should make homeschooling harder, more difficult, more subject to various regulations, or why it should be frowned upon as a choice. And I kind of view that, and I think, well, maybe we should make it easier for homeschooled children to have lots of opportunities to interact with publicly educated children. So we have Tim Tebow laws in this state, and it's about half of states have Tim Tebow laws, which guarantee homeschoolers the right to participate in sports teams and extracurricular activities at public schools. And then they have this now, which is PBC Flex, which allows parents to purchase a la carte certain public school classes. I think it's a great idea, and it's a great solution to their money problems. And then the other school choice element that was talked about was this esports, what's been referred to as an esports scholastic program. And a member of the public came out and shared some really interesting facts about this program. At this current point in time, this is a school choice program offered by Palm Beach Lakes High School. It's not just an after-school club for competitive gaming. It's a program kind of based around the esports world, and it offers some IT stuff as well. And at the end of the meeting, Edwin Ferguson holds a workshop, and it's not really a workshop. It's mostly just him saying, I'm intrigued by this program. I've talked to people about it, and I would like to do a more in-depth workshop in the future when we have our new people. So we're going to listen to this comment.
Good evening. Thank you, board members, Chair Brill, Vice Chair Lane, Mr. Board Chair Ferguson. Thank you all for being here. I want to discuss one thing that was brought to my attention and some of the things that's happening in the scholastic esports world. Right now, I want to first speak on how Palm Beach County has done in the esports nation. Palm Beach County School District was one of the early leaders to pioneer and structure a scholastic esports ecosystem in Florida. I want to state that the district established key components. Some of those components were rules and regulations, IT and network infrastructure, school level program, support, organized competition, and student participation and expectations. This approach helped demonstrate that esports could be more than just gaming, and it could become part of the educational ecosystem. Now, let me speak on that. Over the past couple years, our Scholastic Esports Academy has been named one of the top esports academies in the nation. According to Electronic Gaming Federation, we are ranked number 2 in the nation at this moment. And one of the biggest things I want to point out is a lot of those students over the past years have earned scholastic scholarships to educational colleges and universities. Now let's look at the past couple years of all the universities have established esports programs. Kaiser University, the University of Florida, the University of South Florida, the University of Central Florida, Bethune-Cookman University, Florida International University, Florida Institute of Technology, Full Sail University, the University of North Florida, and there's so many more. Now, across the nation, you're looking at Boise State, Syracuse State, Georgia University, Georgia State University, Georgia Tech University, the University of Maryland, and also the University of Texas A&M. Now, when you talk about outcomes, let's look at outcomes of what Scholastic Esports has brought. The outcomes have brought, we got fewer students in ISS and OSS, and this was done on the case study in SY23 on our program. Also, students also show lower rates of absenteeism more than or less than non-esports students. So that means our students are coming to school on time and they're staying in our public schools. And that's one of the biggest things that I want to point out. Our Scholastic Esports students are coming to school and they're bringing more students to be part of this program. Now, as we look forward to the future, one of the biggest things I want to point out is that the district was the early investment to show that Scholastic Esports can be built into the educational ecosystem and a competitive system. Rather than going towards just the gaming, they showed that the educational system can support Scholastic Esports not only in Florida but across the nation. Thank you.
I thought there was some really interesting information shared here. How fascinating that we are pioneers in this field of scholastic esports. I would have had no idea otherwise. If you want to learn more about Palm Beach Lakes' program, I have a link to it in the description. That's basically all I really wanted to share with you for this meeting. I'll see you in the next episode.